And I need this to be on this playlist. This. Right. We are actually in a server on 4.7. It's a freaking Christmas miracle. A lot of my stuff that was missing is back too. All right. So now we've got a more steady setup here. Let's probably trade this out, I would say, for a med gun. Alright. And then now we're gonna need a primary. Kitten, chill out. Let's see. These are all sort of more generic stuffs, but it gave me a lot of stuff that I was missing, I'll tell you that. Lots of 4x sights. All right. So we need to make some money. We also need to get some components. Once this loads, in theory. Come on. Our goal is to get enough money to be able to buy the NN repeaters. And outfit our Hornet. Which maybe we should just go ahead and pull out and outfit with the stuff we have for it right now. But this game is getting still quite buggy for me.
Welcome.
There we go. Ooh. Star Citizens is a game of patience. Boy, does it love to test it. Well, I am in. We'll see if it lets me get a ship now. But technically, we are in the PU. Our goal is to get money, get our ship updated, but things are a little bit funky, as you can tell. They're definitely a bit laggy, but we technically got into a server, so. How was your day, S1? I had a very long day. I had to drive all the way to like 3 hours and back to a different town to install some server hardware. God, this... bit rough. I wanted to just take out the Aurora once again, just kind of live in the ship a bit. We already know that as a fighter, it's not great, but I wanted to get its... Jesus, like I can't even put away my gun. Can't interact with anything. I can open up my inventory. The game seems determined to not let me make content. Oh, did I hear it showing up? Maybe. Or is that the next over adjacent or the overlapped instance I'm hearing of an elevator showing up? I'm trapped. Well, hey, you know what? We're in the game. We're technically in a server. It's technically doing things. So, we've made progress. Peak season ended today, so finally a chill day. That's nice, dude. Okay, that caught up. That's letting me in here. Okay, alright. I want to get away from Microtech as soon as possible. Fleet manager still ain't working. Oh, that was really bad.
Please visit us again. Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
Okay. Alright. I do want to deliver this because we do want to... That's not the right ship. That's the FAC. We want the Ghost. Okay. We want to outfit the Ghost with some stuff that we have. I also want to outfit some of these other ships, but we will claim them. Alright. So Gladius. Honestly, let's pull out the arrow as well. That's not what I clicked on. Game. Alright. I don't know why I have 2 arrows right now. That's weird. Okay. Alright. Cool. So now I need to back up and get off this. We need to modify some of these ships. So let's pray that this works. Pray. Aurora Mark II. All right, cool. I actually just want to rock the base livery right now, just because I haven't seen that. And I actually am going to throw on the cargo module. We know it's not a good fighter anyways, so giving it some cargo for looting might be good, right? Okay. The weapons that I'd put on it were not good. How did I get M3 and M4s? Where are the default guns? Interesting. I don't know what happened to the default weapons, but they're apparently gone. That's okay. Badgers and bulldogs aren't hard to get back. So, cool. We have our explorer. We have our systems. Okay. All right. That's done. That's what we're gonna be flying out of here. But we're gonna go to our ghost here and give it the rest of our good loadout here. Give it the love struck one. I do really enjoy that. Interesting. It looks like it has no components, even though this is a freshly summoned one. Let's go back. Okay. Well, that frickin' sucks. Thank you for deleting all that stuff from me. That is gonna be a huge pain. Let me check some of the other ships, make sure they have some. They have their defaults. They don't. Okay, it's giving me non-functional ships. We're getting the fuck out of Microtech. We are getting the fuck out of Microtech. The Aurora should be good because that one had components. We're leaving. This is the cursed place. It actually really sucks. Some like a lot of those default components on those ships are actually a nice baseline. Our goal with the Aurora is to just get money, but it deleted our base weapons that we're going to use for that, so that's interesting. Definitely one of the starts of all time. This is technically my first time playing the patch because of all this stuff. This is the first day we couldn't get any actual gameplay. All right, here we go. Now we just need to pray that the hangar lets us out and that we're free to go.
clear to leave.
All right, nice and gently. All right, we are setting course for Crusader. That's where we like to live. But I have friends who usually like to set up out in Microtech. And this is a good starting location when it's not buggy as all heck. I'm hoping that Seraphim will treat us much better. All right, and away we go. I still have hope that this ship can become something worthwhile. And just because it doesn't fight well doesn't mean it's not worthwhile. It's just I've wanted an RSI light fighter for a while. This is technically a light fighter in this destination, even though it has the interior. Like even if it was big, like if it just flew well, that'd be one thing. All right, I'm gonna ask for trouble. I'm gonna ask for huge trouble right now. But this is a brand new ship. I'm gonna put my gun in the gun rack, even though that's a terrible idea and no one should ever do that. Right? As a sit down. Interesting that your own vitals are right there. Imagine you're stressed out trying to lie in bed and your vitals are just right there. I was really thinking my head tracking would actually work in this state. Like I would imagine. Ooh, wait, hold on. We can change the lighting. Okay. Kind of cool. Yeah, we finally made it in, and so this is going to be our first real day playing 4.7 live. So we are in the Aurora. Yes, we know the Aurora is not a good fighter ship, right? That's been made clear to us. But that doesn't mean it's a useless ship. It doesn't mean that it can't be redeemed or have other good features. So we're taking it to Hathor anyways. Now, I wasn't able to get the loadout I wanted on it, if I'm being real with you. I'm still upset that it's not a good fighter, though, because it is technically a light fighter if it's also a starter, right? That's the designation that's been given. And just because a ship is big doesn't always mean it's bad. But they really needed to give this ship a lot more G's. But I'm so in love with how it looks, and like, a ship like this, in this exact configuration with this cargo bay, if it flew well and fought well, would be a perfect ship. So maybe that's why it's not better. But at the same time, like, oh man. 'Cause I think it's even going to struggle in PvE, if I'm being real with you. saving room for the Mustang Delta Mark II and the Avenger Mark II. Yeah, I get that, but the actual Aurora, the Aurora Mark I was actually a decent fighter. It was fragile as all heck, but a decent fighter if you could fly it well. I think they should have, because what, you can fold it up like it's right there. I really think they should have let you fire weapons in this configuration. Like this is what I would have done if I was making it as a ship and not necessarily as a starter, right? Okay, this is the base Aurora Mark II, and this is base how it flies. The wings only open in 2 cases. 1, you're in heavy atmo and you need them, okay? 2, this flight mode, this will give you the flight profile of the Scorpius and the Buccaneer. This is going to be interceptor tuning. Then, when, you know, you let's say, you know, a Gladius gets on you, you jump out the wings, okay? Now you're in fighter tuning. Just like an F-14 Tomcat, where you have an interceptor mode with those swept back wings and a dogfighting mode with the wings out, right? That's what I would have done with this ship. And like the weapon loadout is actually fine. It's just it needs to be able to apply it. It needs to have a great, you know, good stats behind those. Otherwise, how it flies right now actually isn't even that bad. It's just as bad in comparison. It flies about the same as the Shiv or the Super Hornet without their armor or without their weaponry. But if you don't have a Shiv, you just have an Aurora Mark II. That's where I'm going to approach this from, right? As a stepping stone ship, because I think that's what CIG wants it to be, which I'm kind of sad about. Like, I kind of don't like the idea of stepping stone ships. I'm like the type of guy who likes small ships. That's where I live, right? And like, especially like if I didn't have the module in the back there, like it's, yeah, it's big, but it's not ungodly huge. And if they get their frickin' hitboxes better, then these wings actually aren't that, you know, likely to be hit. Now, will they ever get that good hitbox and desync on a 700 player or larger server? Probably not. In which case you have to take the entire cross section, right? You have to assume that's filled space that will be shot. But that's how I would have designed the ship. But now it being a starter, I almost limits it. But like the interior is also like, some people were disappointed by it, which absolutely blew my mind, because for me it's absolutely everything I want in a small ship. A bed, so I don't need to go to a station to sleep at. It's out of the way and doesn't have to take up dead room, right? So we need to find Seraphim. Which is all the way over there. We're gonna go to Orison and go around. It has a gun rack. It has a suit locker. Like, if this ship flew and fought well, I'm not saying it should be the Gladius every time, because it has that side disadvantage. But if it flew like one, felt like one, and you could skill that gap, right? Then this gives you a lot of capability. Now, I understand, and of course I'm talking without the cargo module I have on right now. Why I have the cargo module on right now is because I'm planning on taking the Hathor and getting some components. We'll see if anyone's run Hathor. I also am pretty sure that I hate my loadout. Alright. We're gonna land here, set our spawn, claim our ships. Seraphim is where we live, everyone. Now maybe I will be visiting Pyro this patch, because Pyro might be more populated now with the crafting changes.
Shields are on. Landing gear deployed.
Oh, black spike. Gotta love that.
Landing.
A little rough on the landing.
Engines are off.
Like, I don't know, I guess I just want each of the major brands to have their own light fighter, because I like light fighters, and this is a light fighter. Yes, it's a starter with an interior as well, but it's called a light fighter. So I wish it didn't fly like a freaking medium and a heavy fighter. Or if it did fly like them, give it the armor, give it the weaponry. You know, it doesn't have to have it all the time. Like give me a module that gives me a turret on the back, a remote turret that just not necessarily like an arrows turret is what I mean, right? That has. That's true. The Intrepid is a great idea that has been completely let down by the execution. It's like we had a concept team that was entirely removed from the entire gameplay loops of the game and just made a cool ship, because it is a cool looking ship. And you know, like in a void, the Intrepid seems like a great ship. In the context of Star Citizen, it is like, what the fuck is this?
It's a pretty big one, so team stand by.
All right. Now the question is anybody actually running Hathor with crafting, with rock breaker?
Retrieval system. Welcome to the
Because
ASOP vehicle.
the looting of Hathor sites kind of relies on there being unlooted Hathor sites that are open. So I'm not planning on running the entire mission, right?
Visit us again. Your vehicle has been moved to our storage facility. Your insurance claim. Your vehicle has been moved to our storage facility. Your insurance
Now
claim.
I'm hoping claiming these here will fix their components.
Your insurance claim has been sent.
Oh my god, these ACE up screens need to be fixed. All right, I could rip parts off of the Saber to
Your
get the
insurance claim has been sent.
Hornet up and running if needed. Let's deliver an arrow here.
Your vehicle has been moved to our storage facility.
Same with the Super Hornets, we could ship stuff off those.
Your insurance claim has. Your vehicle has been moved to our storage facility.
Grab the Hawk, the Hurricane. It's our Paladin, which is not an AO, but it seems that, yeah. All right. Buccaneer we're gonna want out. Okay, I don't need to cut this blue right now. The Shiv is like the directly comparable ship, and it's the ship I would normally take to do what I'm about to go do. Let's pull out the Alpha Wolf for sure. Okay. Oh, you know what? I could grab a Fury. I could grab a Fury, and that can give me some of the weapons I want actually. So let's send back down our Aurora.
Storage facility.
Forgot that the Fury is I basically have frickin' 20 Badgers because of that. Oh, come on. Here we go. I'm gonna strip off some of these badgers for us here. Sure, we will need them. Thank you for your sacrifice, Little Fury. Eventually, you will be good again. Actually, he's probably good in this patch because shields are back, and we're not gonna deal with the aim punch. But if I'm using the Aurora, I need to give it the best shot possible. I do think that technically, we won't have enough for a paired build. So I don't think there's any way we get full capacitor out of this. But we're only going to bring one Omni. Aim Punch is currently dead because the Mantis and the Yellow Jackets don't do jack shit.
ASOP vehicle
So yes.
retrieval system.
Yeah, Aim Punch is currently gone. It's not been patched out. It's just the weapons that did the Aim Punch are no longer worth taking.
Your vehicle has been delivered to the following. Your vehicle. Please visit us again.
All right. That takes care of our stats. We should probably buy some ammunition. I'm not planning on doing a whole lot of gunfighting, but since we only have the one gun, we should get some mags. And then we're going to Hathor. So, same rules of engagement. We don't attack ships that have cargo base. We will fight fighters if we need to. Our goal, though, is actually to be gathering high-end components. So we're going to be flying around looking for open red hangars and looting out their components. All right. Ooh. Yeah, this server is still lagging out even this far from Microtech. I was really hoping it was just a Microtech server that was being weird. Obviously, we don't have a meta equipment here. I'm playing the game with my flight suit. Just to sort of get ready for the eventual... God, I swear the server broke. Like, we're stuck in the Galleria now. I went and got bullets, me a little mad. But yeah, because eventually the meta will be flight suits for flight, so I'm just getting used to that, right? And it looks cool. You know, the drip is worth everything. I did. How's your day going, Kurosawa? Why will the meta be flight suits? Great question, Dreamy. So they're going to be changing how armor and things interact. So, for example, originally the OG plan was you couldn't even sit in a light fighter while wearing armor. Like, literally, you couldn't fit in the flight seat if you had armor on. Now, that was the original vision, and so they had the, you know, the light fighters, which, you know, could only have their light armor, which was their flight suits back then. Right? If you look at the older light armors, they kind of looked like they were flight suits. Okay? Then they had the medium fighters where you could wear medium armor and they were slower and had other different things. And then they had heavy fighters where you could wear heavy armor. That design got thrown out the gate. And now what we have is, of course, armor and flight suits as different entities. Okay? And with them being different entities, how they want to enforce it is not saying you don't get to fly if you have this armor on, but you're going to suffer debuffs. So literally now, you will fly worse if you are in the incorrect gear for what you're trying to do, right? So for example, if you're wearing heavy armor and you're in a fighter, you don't have a pilot's helmet, what you won't have is you won't have the MFD casts, which I already don't like and don't use them. Unless I absolutely need to, just because I find them annoying. I say that as I have display info up, which is also really annoying. But you also will have less G resistance. So that means you will black out easier when you're not wearing a flight suit that is designed for it. You also won't have things like EVA. EVA is going to only be on flight suits or with a backpack that you could wear instead of a looting backpack to store stuff. You have an EVA pack on your heavy armor to maneuver in that, right? Also, you're eventually going to actually have full on lower stats. So you will have lower turn rates if you're not in the correct suit for what you're trying to do. So me as a fighter pilot, primarily ace, right? Like all my gameplay, if I can help it, is going to be in the seat of a ship, shooting at other things. Right now we're testing out the Aurora. We already kind of know it's going to be a little bit poopy, but that's okay. We still got to do our own testing. All of my gameplay though has resolved around me being a fighter pilot, so I am just getting ready to not have access to heavier armor. Now, it's one of the reasons why this ship is so interesting, because it has an armor locker and it's technically a light fighter. A light fighter with a weapon rack, an armor locker, and a bed is really appealing to me, but they had to make it fly like shit. They had to make it fly like shit. Still, we are going to try our best if we get PvP here. Speaking of that, we need to get our weapons set up correctly. My radar is currently offline. Why is my radar currently offline? Cool, that's a really annoying bug. I'm gonna try and get it to come back here. So my radar should be right there. It doesn't. That gives me way less situational awareness than I would like at Hathor. We're gonna fly close to this. Okay, we have one ship landed here. It's an Arrow. It is not destroyed. Shields are up. Let's check if it's game rules. Did they change the scanning screen? Really? Oh great, my pedals have a little bit of that on it. I'm not seeing if it's game rules anymore. Did they remove that? Interesting. That's a fucked Gladius. Size 2 guns also make me so sad. Okay, here's the thing. Size 2 guns can be okay. Size 2s are actually have the best weapon in the game right now. That it will be patched, but they do have the NN14s, which are by far the best weapon in the game. But, quite simply, they didn't give the ship enough Gs. Like the Hawk has size 2s and yeah, 2 size 1s if you think those matters. So what we have right now is the best mixed loadout we could get. We're not at max capacitor. I don't think we can get to. Oh yeah, we can. Okay. We have a PvP loadout on right now. But without our situational awareness regarding our main radar, it'll be a little rough. How are you doing, Jamie? Basically, all he had to do was give this thing the flight profile of the Hawk. Hey, that's a dead Aurora, isn't it? Yep. Interesting. And a dead Carrack. And a dead Cutlass. So people are absolutely coming to Hathor still. Yeah, does look fully dead. Well, no, I was just seeing the top of it. Really wish we had our main radar working. I might actually land the ship, put it down, and do a full power recycle and see if we can get that radar up, because we really need situational awareness at Hathor. Hey, there we go.
Enjoy the ride. System check.
Make sure our power allocation makes sense here. Okay. Perfect. Perfect, that did work.
Take off. Landing gear raised.
So people are coming here. We didn't see, well, we did see, we saw that it wasn't open. I'm not looking to run the Hathor site dungeon. I'm just trying to see if there's any already open garages for us to loot.
Radar contact.
So there's the other one. All right, it's closed down. Is he navving at us? He is navving at us. Okay, it was an AI who crashed. I was like 99% sure it was an AI, but I'm not used to seeing them nav. We'll set the armor change. I'm cleaning Paladin armor. Yeah, the armor stuff needs to be reworked. I really am currently not thrilled about the direction that like the TTK is going. Okay, a lot of these are open. Let's see about the main one. Nope, main one's closed. Like, I'm totally fine with big ships having armor. I'm even fine with some of the heavy fighters having armor. But I think all medium lights and some of the heavies, the Scorpius and the Hurricane specifically, should not have armor. And by that I should clarify and say armor damage mitigation. Okay, that's the one. Then we had the one on the hill, so we should have one this way. Put on some tune. Let's see here.
Radar contact.
Okay, nothing to be worried about. So somewhere in these hills should be the final one to check. But if none of these are open, I doubt this one's going to be open either. There it is. Yeah, definitely a lot of nose lag when you got attached module.
Radar contact.
There's a ship there. It's a destroyed Cutlass by the looks of it. Or no, it's a destroyed Vanguard. Oh. Cute. And it's closed. Alright. We're gonna go to the other site now. Yes, you will be able to craft ships that will be better than pledge ships. Yes. And that's not a bad thing. If it's too broken, it could be a bad thing. But eventually, it's the way the game should go. Now, you should also be able to upgrade your pledge ship to that level.
Radar contact. Shields are off.
As for the other stuff, I couldn't tell you. It makes sense to me that they would do a system like that where you can get better damage and stuff. But as far as I could see, the only things I saw things being crafted for were the like recoil with. Dude, the freaking AI, these sites just nabbing and just trying to freaking ram you. What I will say is I am not an expert on crafting, and I probably never will be. I'm not a miner. I don't enjoy that stuff. Right now, none of the things I really care about for my main gameplay, because I'm a pilot primarily, is in crafting yet. And when it is in crafting, I would probably rather pay a mining org, like, hey, give me some materials, I'll pay you, or hey, get the blueprint, I'll pay you, craft me something, right?
Quantum drive is now off. Radar contact. Radar.
There's the AI. Go on, but there is a ship down there. A couple of them, actually. Okay. Okay. Good first start.
Shields are on.
Oh, there's no lamp on the Aurora. Interesting. Is that a... This is a Saber. Okay, this hangar's closed. Interesting that the light is pointing kind of down on the ship. Yeah, just low down. I've always been stuck alone and get recruited by these orgs that once you're in, you're still alone. I mean, no one's playing. Any tips? Brother, let me tell you, that's been my experience as well. Although when I was playing with somebody, then they were complete dicks about how I play the game, because I am a very weird Star Citizen player. I am a dirty PvPer who really only likes to sit in a ship and fly around, right? Okay, this one's closed off as well. So the only flights will have MFD projections. So these are called your MFDs. Right there, what I'm looking at right there, the power management window, that's one of my MFDs. And what that means is multi-function display, right? Where you can change all these things about your display and see through them. Now you will have access to these without a flight suit. What you won't have is MFD casts. Okay, we're still good. And what MFD casts are, which I'll go over and turn them back on. These, where it gives you a top left and top right screw, you know, cast onto your helmet visor. These are going to only be available if you have a combat or a combat flight. 1 second, hold on. We had a lot of negative energy there. I had to counter, but yeah. That's an Aurora right there. Why can't I target it? There's an Atlas Geo. Interesting. I'm a total jackass as well. So no. I guess what I meant is, so for example, I was a part of an org called the Texas Space Navy, and they were a very large org, and I was recruited by a buddy of mine who was in that org. Okay, so I didn't like seek it out to join it of my own accord. Just he was in it. He wanted me to join them for some ops and stuff, right? So I've always been a flight enjoyer, a PvP focused guy, and so I said, fuck it, I'm not in an org, I'll join. They would do really annoying things like mandated events and trainings that I just wouldn't care about. Like, they would take a personal hangar, get a bunch of the SU boxes that you would buy, and they would like build these little maps that had no relevance to the game. And like, all right, we're gonna do a 5v5 here. I'm like, we could just go to Arena Commander and do a private lobby, guys. Like, what? And then, so like, my attitude there was weird. And also, I just didn't have interest in training FPS. Like, yeah, no. That's not my discipline, right? And then back when like Jumptown was a thing, we would go and do Jumptown. They're like, all right, everybody, we're getting in like 2 hammerheads. And it's like, this was back before hammerheads had any viability or any reason to be taken. So like, I'd be like, I'd rather just go in a Gladius, and they'll be like, okay, well, since you're not playing with the team, well, you can come, but we're not gonna pay you. It's like, okay, guys. So what I recommend you do for the stuff dressed out is if you want to get into an org and you want to play with people, make sure you find your people. Because if you're in the wrong org that's not your people, that doesn't understand what you enjoy about the game, you will not have fun. And honestly, for me, I've basically written off orgs, which has made my life a little bit harder. But also, just, I don't care about the politics of it all. No. Now, I personally hate the MFD casts because I have head tracking and it kind of blocks my vision as I'm looking around. And it's, to me, it's just more immersive to just use the real MFDs. These are cooler to me. You know, they're in the ship, the stuff that I interact with. The last remnant of the game when it was going to be DCS in space, right? Because originally, like, the game was going to have full fidelity cockpits where you could press every button. All right, no one's at Hathor right now. and none of these are open for looting. So let's head back to Seraphim. Hey Don, how's it going, man?
Can't hear. I'll track your progress. Watch yourself.
You crafted some crazy FPS guns? Tell me about it, man. Okay, so there is damage improvements. As part of Goon Swarm and CFC back in the Eve. This is when Orgs meant something. Yeah, so I only played a little bit of Eve. I played like maybe 10 hours of Eve. And it just wasn't really my game. If I had people to play with, I probably would have played it more because I love the concept of it. Orgs do mean something, all right? At least in Star Citizen. Now, they may not be what they are in Eve, where they're literally that, but like, just because I've had a really bad experience in the Orgs and I've written them off because I'm a shy little boy, doesn't mean that they don't have value. And like, there are a lot of Orgs that I'm very friendly with, but just because of my like issues, you know, my traumas with them. Did I break my jump doing that? I might have to reroute here. I just don't want to get into another one. And like, so for example, there were these guys that I fought at Hathor. I actually, yeah, I fought them on stream, and there were people who were watching it. And then afterwards, we just chatted and like, yo, dude, you kicked our ass. Want to join an org? Like, not really, no. Like, okay, that's fair. Well, how about we just put you in this Discord, and then if you want to play with us ever, and like you just ever want to get fights, because like we're all ground FPS guys, like we focus on the FPS content. I'm like, wow, that must be a really terrible time because the ground FPS stuff is so laggy and desyncy. But hey, if that's what they do, that's what they do, right? And my testers are screwed up for selling. Holy crap. Anyways, they're like, yeah, so listen, you know, we get it. You don't want any of the drama or any of the politics. Just join the server, and like if you want to play with us or if we need an escort, we'll just call you and we'll pay you to come fly escort. Like, that's cool. I'll do that. Like I'm actually probably one of the only guys in this game that will be stoked to sit in a fighter while you run like a mission and just be on escort. I love that shit. Because even if I'm not, you know, getting a fight, if there's at least a reasonable expectation that I will, like I'm not gonna sit with somebody out in Aaron's Halo. I'm not gonna do that. That's like, you're safe, dude. You don't need to be there. If someone wants to run Hathor and wants me for air support, fuck yeah, I'm there. If they want me to Rockbreaker, fuck yeah, I'm there. And I wouldn't even ask for payment. Like I would do that shit for free. But then I joined this Discord, and the first thing is they're trying to vote on a charter for this Discord as Org of Orgs that they wanted to make. They had this huge fight over like AI icons and stuff. It's all like, I'm sitting there like, guys, I'm like one guy, two on a good day. I don't want to be here for this. Like, but if you can find your people, and there are good orgs out there, there really are. I just have my traumas with them, because after that org, I joined another org with that same friend, and then that went really south. Okay. You're not even gonna turn on? This is fun. This is engaging content, guys. Great work, CIG. Great work, CIG.
Great. Let me cross them off the list and get you paid.
I was using my C2 to help new. I feel like you're making fun of me, Cooch. Well, okay, here's the thing. You immediately know an org is not good if they say they have a structured, disciplined, rigid system. As soon as you hear that, the org is no good. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, Gooch. Because that's kind of the Flanderized PvPer, is what you're describing. But hey, you know what? Whatever's fun for you is fun for you. I personally have rules of engagement for when I PvP. It's on foot. I don't really want to do on foot. We could, I just don't want to. I'm wearing a freaking flight suit. You just see PvPs doing something? We can see if anyone's in AC, but we already just checked out. We already just checked out where I usually get verse PvP, which is at Hathor. So let me explain what I've done. Now, I probably do need to get into Rockbreaker, which sucks. I don't want to mind, but basically Hathor is, you know, one of these open PvP sites, right? Because it's got the Karenite orgs go and fight there. Even though it's in sec, it is a PvP zone, and saying it's not is a little silly. So when I go there, I have rules of engagement, okay? So I can only attack combat ships, so those are ships that are, you know, fighters, bombers, capital ships, okay? If it has a cargo bay, does not drop bombs, and is smaller than the Perseus, I can't shoot at it, okay? That's my own personal rules of engagement. Or if it's a starter ship, with maybe the exception of the Aurora right now, we're not shooting at it. That's how I test stuff, because back when engineering first dropped, and the ballistic meta was a huge thing, right? Arena Commander was not updated. So in Arena Commander, you couldn't do things like a power plant kill. And it's a hugely different TTK if you get a power plant kill on somebody, or if you have to fully wear down their shields. So yeah, so am I still griefing? Yes, but I'm doing it at ships that I view as threats to the airspace, and I don't mess with people who are just there for looting or mining or salvaging, right? Also because what I'm interested in is a fight, not necessarily a just deleting your ship, right? Now, I will say, of course, that's like kind of that's not going to be a norm. That's how I would test ships and test builds in the last couple of patches, having to do it in PU. But unfortunately, when we went there today, there was nobody there. We can go back again. We're back over at Daymar, and we are testing out the Aurora right now. And that's not tracking. And that's not tracking. Oh, missiles. What even are missiles? So yes, I fly Twin 6 with pedals. Why you see that line there that's normally only going to be on a mouse user is I turn on VJoy for my stick inputs, because I review all my fights, so I can you know, see my inputs and stuff later on without having to use third-party software.
We'll mark one less shithead off the road. Those your dudes list.
Because these AI don't fly like anything at all. You can't get anything valuable from fighting AI in the game. What's your go-to loadout for the Gladius right now? I've been enjoying the MDB 30s, but the attritions throw out some damage, particularly just slow. Yeah. The Gladius is in a weird spot for me right now. What I would probably rock in the Gladius right now is a NN14 on the nose and 2 Panthers on the wings. The NN14s have kind of taken over my recommended builds right now. We don't have any in PU, but in PTU they are insanely broken. Right, PTU? No, I meant Arena Commander. My brain is still a little bit on the pre-patchness. So the NN14s are bugged. That's why they are the best weapon in the game. So it's the size 2 NN14s, okay? So they have neutron cannons. They do more damage than the Omnis. They can pen any ship in the game. Same velocity. They use less power. They only use 1 pip of power. So you can do mono laser builds with them. That's like the main issue on fighters and cannon builds. You can't do mono laser without suffering capacitor issues, which you'd need against these new buffed shields, right? Here's the thing. Their numbers are wrong, so you get 90 of them. You get 90 shots in your capacitor, and then the regen on that is literally 0.4 seconds from 0 to full. So you never stop shooting. Damage anything in the game, never have to stop shooting. Yeah. So I like to pair those with anti-fighter weaponry, because you can use that to strip your armor. That guy wasn't here before. And the anti-fighter guns are good at damaging shields. You can't do a mono CF build anymore. If you do a mono CF build, then you are regulating yourself to only fighting light fighters. So here, I can show you what I mean. The ship is still alive. This is also new here, so people are showing up. We're gonna down this one, these shields here. This is why you can't do mono. I mean, he is damaged, so maybe this won't be a good example here. Yep, alright, so right now, the shields are down. We're not getting hit markers. We're not applying damage to it. So, if we had mono CFs, there is literally nothing we can do to this ship. That's why you put a cannon on. You see how that immediately we get a hit marker? It does visual damage to the ship there. See the difference? See that difference right there? Now, we get it down low enough on the armor. Not yet. There. You do enough damage with the cannons, now you can light it up with everything. So you cannot bring mono. We're not gonna actually blow up a ship. We're just using it as an example. So there's a guy there who's like, my ship! It's like, it's okay, but I shipped your armor. You're all good. That's why you need something. Why the NN14 versus the NN15? Because the NN14 is bugged and the NN15 isn't. And the damage is good enough, right? It will still damage every ship in the freaking game. It will do its job, and it has the instant recharge and the 90 shots in the capacitor. But here's the thing, guys. Before you say, oh, I'm not going to invest in this because this is a bug and I'm fixing the next patch, it's still probably the best cannon because it only uses 1 pip of power instead of 1.5 pips of power like the Omnis and Light Strikes. Okay? Does anybody have any questions on that? Yeah, missiles are funky this patch. Missiles need a complete rework, for being real here. Yeah, back to the guys. What should we run again? So, like I said, on the nose, I would put a singular NN-14 neutron cannon. And then I would do 2 CF Panthers on the wings. On VTOL here. Nope, that's closed off. That Aurora is still here. And that Aurora has seen better days. Look at that amount of wear on this ship. Look at that, that's kind of cool. Been there a while. Are those broadsword cannons on it? No, great swords are size 2, right? Great swords, or is that longsword? Broadsword is size 3. Interesting. Not what I would have done. Oh, we have a ship, we have a ship, we have a ship. That's a Shiv. Ooh, a Shiv would be a very hard fight. A Shiv would be a very hard fight. Technically, he doesn't meet our rules, but he's the first guy we've seen here. I want to get an actual PvP fight.
Radar contact.
Sorry, Big Sponge. I'm breaking my own fucking ROE, but...
Check fire.
Yeah, we don't have G's to stay under him.
Radar contact.
He's gonna have a radar advantage on us.
Shields damaged.
Let's get up close. Shield's already down, that's not great. So he's got weapon advantage, shield advantage, and radar advantage. He's also using gimbals. So we're okay using the CS just to get it down. Now our nose is already red, that's okay because the nose has 4 HP. Bugged. Yeah, I just don't have the G's. Oh, something else is on us. A freaking MX is on us too. That's dangerous.
Radar contact.
Okay.
Shields off.
We have to pull.
Shields off.
So these AI are making it difficult here to keep track of what's going on.
Shields damaged.
these TTKs are bad. We just lost a wing.
Shields are up. Shields damaged.
It's pulling out. And we're dead. Yeah. You gotta put up the cop. It does have capacitor issues.
Weapons system
But we have fights now.
engines down.
Yeah. The issue with the Aurora is it just doesn't have the G's. So you can't even stay close to these ships, right? The Guardian unironically flies better than it. We knew the Aurora wasn't going to fight particularly well. When it was just that Shiv, it was an interesting fight because we had the exact same stats. It was just our profiles, right? But then the Guardian has insane trace, which we don't have. So every time I got under, you see how you kind of just drifted to the side and away from me. Also, with armor and TTK the way it is now, it's even harder to 2v1 than before. But that was going to have been a hard fight for a lot of ships. Let's get out. Let's hope that we have enough to kit out the Hornet how we want it, because that's the next ship I'm most interested in, is the Hornet. The Aurora was never going to be a top tier PvP ship. We knew that since our first testing of it. I wanted to get a real fight under my belt. That was unfortunate that it was ended up being a duo, not a 1v1, but that's how it happens. So. I swear I claimed the ghost here, dude.
Welcome.
The Aesop is just
Vehicle retrieval
needs
system.
to be ripped out and looked at again.
Your insurance claim. Your vehicle has been moved to our storage facility. Your vehicle has
Jesus
been moved to our
Christ.
storage facility. Your insurance claim has been sent. Thank you.
Okay, 2 minutes. There we go. I love that you were actually critical of it. There seems to me this is the best new ship. Yeah, I mean, that's that's gonna be the bait title. Like if I make a review of it, I might use that line. Like, is this actually the best new starship? And I'll just say no. And the video's over. Just like, look. I love its styling. I want to like it. If it had everything it has, but just flew better, it would be up there for me, because it is a very usable ship.
Welcome to the
It's
Aesop
just
vehicle retrieval system.
obviously it can't really PvP. Let's see. Ooh, you know what? We can do Alpha Wolf. I'm pretty sure Alpha Wolf can hit both those guys.
Selected.
And I want to attack before they leave, right?
Your vehicle has been delivered. Your vehicle.
I want to see, guys. That was that Lamina, right? So full disclosure on the Alpha Wolf is I actually kind of don't like how it flies, which is weird because the numbers are good. I don't know why I struggle it. I don't know if it's like the strafes or whatever. I do struggle more in the Alpha than I do in like a Gladius or an Arrow, and it should be right in the middle of it, but like it feels like it doesn't strafe as well, even though it's tiny and small. So I'm hoping I can get over that. No, we want 1 power. Don't need life support. Okay, we're definitely going to need to adjust our components a bit on this guy. There's no way we can run it with only one cooler, huh? This is the radar by default takes 2, huh? We'll see if we run into cooling issues.
Shields disengaged. Landing gear raised.
There's yellow. Daymar should be... Oh, we can go to yellow. Oh, wait. There. Now, still, a 2v1 is going to be hard. Especially because they're both very high damage ships. We have 4 size 4s and then 2 size 4s, 4 size 3s.
Quantum drive disengaged.
And so when they raised the TTK and they made it take longer, right? And we were at Tritus. What that means is it's a lot harder for you to get a kill in a 1vx scenario where it's easier for them to get a kill on you. Because they get more damage on table, right? If everyone dies to 1 shot, it doesn't matter if you have 10 guys or 1 guy. You hit a guy once, they blow up, right? But if it takes, 10 seconds or 10, let's say 1 second of it hits, a guy blows up. Cool? Doesn't really matter how many guys you have. You have 10 seconds, but you have 10 guys, then they each only need to do 1, get you, and you need to do 10 on each of them to get them, right? So the longer they make the TTK, the more it goes towards ganking. Unless it goes towards individual skill. But that's not to say it can't be done. That was one of the best things about the old metas, though. The ballistic meta and Pen really did a good job at speeding up TTKs because you could get those very quick. Those very quick power plant kills. But that's gone now. Ballistic meta is very dead. The PvP and whatever ship I am because I'm gonna lose anyways. So real.
Shields active.
They didn't leave. Come on. They won. Why would they leave?
Contact confirmed.
I feel like it's something to do with center mouse and movement. Like if it has all the weight in the back. Are we talking about why the wolf feels weird to fly? Yeah, we are overheating. Okay, gravity massage. He is not a valid target. That's a Zeus. We have a fight though, so I'm okay waiting for our fight. Still getting overheat messages. Just trying to keep my head on the swivel and see when they, or if that guy comes back.
Contact confirmed.
Nope, that's just an AI. I wonder if they went up to the OOP, because the OOP has its own kind of radar bubble.
Contact confirmed.
Man, why would they leave? They won. Yeah, just these guys. Nothing special around here. All right, let's try the other site then. Just AI there.
Quantum drive engaged. Quantum drive disengaged. Contact confirmed. Shields active.
Is there a ship role that currently doesn't exist that you think should? A ship role that doesn't exist but should. Do you mean like isn't even planned or just isn't in the game currently? Oh, I fucked that up. Wow, we're alive. We're fine. Praise be armor. The ground textures are looking really weird. Isn't planned or announced. Okay. So not something that is, you know, talked about. A ship role that doesn't exist that I think should.
Contact confirmed.
Okay. No, I mean that is technically announced. Cuddy Red. The first thought that came to mind was like a small repair ship. something you could have like in an MPUV hangar on an Idris, or in the cargo bay or hangar of the Polaris, or even on a Carrack, that you could jump out and use RMC to repair the ship. But technically repair ships were talked about like in like the Crucible and stuff, but like as large, you know, sort of flying dry dock ships. There we go, we fucked it up that time. I am not a low flyer. I want to be, but I'm not. Hopefully we will stop spinning at some point here. But yeah, in terms of like combat, one second. Yeah, okay, there it is. I was like, did we live that? But no. So in terms of combat, I don't know. We've talked about a lot of different things. Like, here's the thing about this game, right? Is that it's like it's built on like dreams, and so they've dreamt up a lot of stuff. I'm trying to think of things that aren't talked about. If we're just talking about a role that's not currently in the game, that's easy. Well, this isn't even your question, but what I kind of actually want to see is them do a breakdown on what they view fleet combat to be like, and what every class of role of ship what its job actually is, right? Because they use these really broad categories that don't really mean anything. Like the fact that the Gladius and the Aurora are both light fighters and they share nothing in how they fly or what they do, right? Or the same deal with like the, you know, the Perseus and the Hammerhead are both subcapital corvettes that share nothing in what they do. The freaking Connie and the Redeemer are both gunships. They share nothing what they do. So I would like to see them break down by roles and kind of by like sub archetypes what they want everything to do, and then go from there, right? Well, guys, we aren't getting a lot of PvP anymore. We are a war, one fight in the Aurora. I wanted to get a fight in the Aurora and see if I could skill the gap, and I couldn't skill the gap against a 2v1.
Your insurance claim your vehicle has been moved to our storage facility.
But honestly, it was just it was a bear to fly, anyways. What I guess what would be kind of cool. No, I mean, they've talked about this though. Damn it. There's so much they've talked about. Because like they talked e-warfare, they've talked EMP, they've talked you know, like more, you know, I guess, yeah, like a lot of my criticisms would be like, okay, so we have a missile boat, but the missile boats all do the same things and they do it poorly. It's either really either works and it's really unfun, and I just fucking trapped myself. Yay. It either works and it's really unfun, or it's or it doesn't work and then you waste all your missiles and they don't track, right? Like, it would be cool if like there was a ship like the Eclipse that had a limited number of missiles, but they were ramjet missiles and they had a really long lock range, but the longer you fired them from, the faster they would go, and these missiles could pierce PDCs. That would be like the idea, right? 'Cause, like, if you fire them in the optimal range, let's say 100 kilometers, right? By the time they got to a cap ship, it would be going so fast the PDCs couldn't hit it. That would be like a cool type of ship. So it's not necessarily a role that doesn't exist because missile boats exist. That would be cool. I also would just like to see an elongation in ranges in general for capital class warfare. Like, I think like 2 Idrises should be able to start shooting at each other at like 60 km.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle.
Whether that's using, you know, rail guns or their own version of ramjet missiles or things like that. Like, imagine if like you started the fight and you just fire off a salvo of 50 missiles, and so before you guys close to that brawl range that you see now, you get in and there's just PDCs firing, and you want to have a bunch of ships with PDCs all close together to create envelopes to actually be able to deal with the swarm of missiles, right? So you would have formations. Because what we have right now is we have the fur ball. Cap ships just get close, and then they basically fly like big fat fighters. But if there was a reason to form up to create lining envelopes of fire, I think we can do that by stretching it out and having stages of the fight. Like, all right, you start off throwing railgun shots, then you fire long range missiles, then as you get closer, the guns start shooting, right? That'd be cool. We have our Ghost here now. Let's see if it actually has no components. Okay, it got its basic components. Thank Christ. All right, cool. We can do something here, I think. Yeah, like that's okay for the brawl stage ish. Like, it's not good, but like, okay, if that's how it ends up being when you're in the fur ball, fine. But the fur ball right now is what we have. Oh, I can't put the nose gun on this one. I have to buy it separately, right? I remember now. You do have rhinos, and they're on the Paladin and on the Hurricane. We'll rip them off the Hurricane for right now. Well, I'm a little bit disappointed that Hathor isn't more buzzing, but I understand why it's not. Yeah, those missiles have their own problems. The entire missile system is just wrong. And like, maybe they can't do a high fidelity missile system because of desync and because of the distances involved and the player counts involved and server meshing and all that stuff. So I get that. But like, missiles can be very interesting, both to deploy and to defend against. You have games like DCS that do it great. You have games like freaking Nuclear Option that do it really, really, really cool. And they're fun. And fighting the defending missiles is an active and a skill-based thing. And what we have in Star Citizen is basically missiles are used as a resource drain. And once you've drained that resource, which is flares, you get to kill them or they get to leave. That's what happens. Or you use EM missiles, which don't get flared off and don't engage with the mechanic unless you use an ungodly amount of them. But everyone uses them because they're just the best. If you enjoy missile gameplay, that's fine, but it is by definition a very simple and probably poor system for a game that's supposed to be as in-depth as Star Citizen is, right?
Enfield Aerospace. All systems online. Shields online. Takeoff complete.
It's not necessarily damage types that we need. What we need is different missile behaviors and a different way to interact with the missile, right? So for example, terrain masking should be a thing, right? So if I am flying near a larger structure and the missile has to pick me out from the background of the structure and it's a radar guided missile, right? Then it should have a hard time seeing me and it should have a very hard time locking me and engaging me if I'm staying close to the structure, right? Now you can say, oh, we're talking about future radar. Okay, we're also talking about a fun game, okay? So that means like, okay, hey, they got a missile boat, stay close to your cap ship. It will help obscure it, right? Same deal with if it's at a super long range and the relative distances are huge. Me being by a planet should also help mask me. And that angle, that firing angle might be wrong, right? If they're 30, 40, 60 kilometers out, me being close to a planet's surface should do the same effect, right? Also, the missile shouldn't fly at infinite speed. It should have a fixed turn rate, and it should have a fixed speed. The FPS should be faster than the SEM and nav mode speeds. It should be able to reach, but it shouldn't be able to keep ramping up, right? So this is a ramjet. And so, if you know a missile gets close to me and I see it coming in, and the WEZ, the weapon engagement zone, is very narrow. So let's say I see it coming and it's coming at me like sort of this angle where this guy is. If I can push down and turn and pull up to where it can't turn with me, I should have defeated that missile. That missile should not have the fuel or the energy or the turn rate to just spin around and keep going after me. You should be able to use flight to dodge the missiles as well if the WEZ, the weapon engagement range, is close enough that you can jam it. All right. Alternatively, if it's a radar guided missile, flares shouldn't work, but you should be alerted that it's a radar guided missile, and you should be either using your chaff for that, or you should be using anti-radar techniques. So how a Doppler radar works is it picks out relative. So basically, it can tell if you're getting closer or farther from it. But if you are getting closer to it at the same rate as the ground, it can't see you because it has to filter out something, or else it can't lock. So it filters out the ground. So if you turn yourself perpendicular to the missile, right? So you aren't going forward or back from it. You do that. This is called notching the missile, and it makes you blind to it. It can't see you because the ground or other things will do that. So if you're in Atmo, you should be able to notch missiles. You should be able to get a rough indication of the direction it's coming from, turn off, and notch the missile to dodge it. And you might say, that sounds overpowered. Bro, if I'm notching, you know how much of an easy target that is if I was in a dogfight? So missiles become very supportive, right? Also, since missiles are going to be less reliable to hit with all these changes I'm saying, we can make them more deadly. So if you do get the hit, you can get a kill on a fighter. Instead of it being, I hit you with 4 missiles, why are you not dead? Because missiles should be pretty dangerous to a fighter. You should want to not tank them, right? The question is if all of these sort of high fidelity, you know, missile simulation stuff can actually be done on a game that has the desync of Star Citizen. So to get our nose gun, we have to go to our corp. What was the left set up whenever you're doing a new patch?
Shields offline.
I'm able to net the chat. That's weird. Like, and like IR missiles shouldn't give you like the same warning. Now, I think they probably need to give you some sort of warning. They can't do it quite like it, but there shouldn't be the same warning as a Widow Guide missile. So you should know to use flares for that, right? Like, it's kind of like one of the sneaky things about IR missiles is they don't lock you. They're looking at your heat signature, right? So like in a real dogfight, when someone fires an IR missile up close to you, you don't get a warning. You have to be looking and saying, "Oh, smoke in the air, drop flares," right? Or you preemptively drop flares to make it harder for him to get the shot in the first place. Like, missiles can be a super cool thing, and what we have right now is just a really lame system. I'd love if the UI wasn't so opaque about missiles. Basically, yeah. That's exactly how it works, Sky. I wish the UI wasn't so opaque about missiles. I think I know what you're saying. I think you're saying you wish it was clearer. But that's a way to put it that I'm not totally familiar with. But yeah, so like, you mean like how many you have at any given time, or like what's coming at you? Sure. Yeah. Oh, I mean, dude, the UI during a dogfight is already super annoying, especially if you've been pinging to try and find somebody, which you have to do now, because cross section only gets on ping, and you see all this ground clutter that you can't filter out of your radar. Like, I wish you could literally tune your radar and say, "Hey, I don't give a shit about ores. I don't give a shit about ground life. Only show me ships, because I'm fighting fucking ships, please." But if you the other way around, it's like, "Hey, I'm in a peaceful place. I don't want to see those ships. Filter me to only find ore," right? Like that would be a cool system, CIG. Because right now you start spamming, you have markers everywhere. It's weird. Yeah. Yep. I wish we had more MFDs and ships. They've been reducing so many newer ships down to 2, and I hate the MFD casts. They're just not enjoyable to me. They feel very video gamey. I know it's like, oh, they're on your helmet. We're casting to your helmet. Isn't that cool? No, it's just UI element. This is cool. This tactile screen that I interact with and can touch. That's cool. That reminds me of DCS and stuff. I hate the casts, and I get why they're doing it. The casts are more performant. Apparently something about these MFDs is it takes a lot of FPS away. That's why they've been dropping the numbers down on ships. But God, does it annoy me. I can't think of this song. Hold On by Tillian. This is a playlist from 4th Street Pete, guys. If you don't know who 4th Street Pete is, he's a Twitch streamer and actually a TikTok streamer, I think, as well, who does only low fly. He will play Star Citizen, take an arrow out, take a Gladius out, take some small ship out, and he'll fly a meter off the ground all the way around a fucking planet. It's super impressive. I can't do it. You guys watched me try it earlier in the Hawking and blow myself up. Granted, the Hawk has a huge nose, so that's part of the reason why I crashed. I want to say to soothe my ego. But really cool guy. Check him out. This entire playlist, this entire music playlist is actually from him. I would like the indie cast being moved to the bottom of my screen or stronger customized. Yeah. 4th Street Pete once again, guys, if you want to look him up. I don't think he does YouTube, but I do think he does other stuff. Yeah. I want to get good at that, but as you saw, I'm not there yet. There it is. I wonder if they sell the NNs here. They probably don't. I probably do have to go to Nyx, but Nyx is so boring. Remember when you used to have to deliver stuff to these rooftop pads and they had a reason for existing? British Farm remembers.
Warning, you are leaving a safe zone. Landing gear deployed. Warning, you are leaving a safe zone. Warning, you are leaving a safe zone.
Heck yeah, Ellie. These are plans and missions. It does. How's it going, man? I'm so sorry I didn't respond to you. I could swear, like, I read the message and I thought I did, and then I look back, I'm like, I never actually sent that. Yeah, we're still getting it outfitted. I think the Hornet's in a fantastic place this patch. It's going to be one of the best ships in the entire game. Like, not saying it wasn't already, but it is. Yeah. Even, and it's not even the A's, it's any Hornet. It's because just they have the firepower still. They now have armor to sit in PDCs. And they can take advantage of the size 2 guns. Ooh, that one was nasty. Ugh. What loadout do you want on Stealth Hornet? We're just gonna be building it. That's the kind of the reason I was trying to make money or get components is I wanted to get a full stealth loadout, but then none of the garages were open. So right now, as of 4.7, no .1s, no .2s, the best possible loadout in the game for it is Panthers on the top turret, Rhinos on the winglets, then on the nose guns 2 size 2 NN14s. Shocker, I know we talked about this earlier. Those NN14s are the best gun in the game. They will get you into any other ship. They will let you damage any ship in the game. The Idris, doesn't matter. They have instant recharge. They have 90 shots in the capacitor. You set up your weapon group so you can fire them independently, and then you get the best anti-fighter weaponry, and then you get the ability to damage any ship in the game, and you get great shield killing capability even after all the shield buffs. So with that loadout, you will fight anything in the game. You'll fuck it up. Now, if you know you're going to be fighting cap ships and you want to turn off PDCs, like you're actually doing a fleet fight, and you know that, then you will trade out your top 2 guns, your Panthers, for Deadbolts. You need to make sure these are bound separately though, all right? Now this will limit your abilities to fight fighters, but what it will do is let you pen shields and damage any exterior component through shields. So you can then fly up close to a PDC, it will shoot you, it will hurt your shields, it won't hurt your ship. Delete the PDC, next PDC, delete the PDC, next PDC, delete the PDC, onto and so forth. But if you have weight of numbers or just time, you can do the same job with the anti-fighter build. That is also like anything that's not capital ship. You just need to get the shields down first. What is bugged about them? So instead of 25 capacity, they have 90. Okay. And they recharge instantaneously. The second you're off the trigger, in 0.4 seconds, they will go from a 0 cap to back to 90. So you don't basically never have to recharge them. Now, even when this bug gets patched, they will still be really, really good options, even when they have 25 cap and a recharge time. And here's why. They take 1 power pip. The light strikes, the Omniskis, the other guns, they take 1.5, which leads you to huge capacitor issues on these ships. Okay? Oh my Jesus. Lady, whoever you got your spray tan from, you should fire them. Look at that. Look at that line. Jesus Christ. You too. You too. God, terrible spray tans. Terrible spray tans.
Please consult any of our associates for help or rental.
Yep, they are broken. They're very good. They're the best gun in the game. More damage than the Omniskis can damage any ship in the game. Instant recharge, no downtime, so that you can get through that rapid shield recharge, and you get the CF, which are also just good for dealing with shields. I don't have NNs here. Nope. It would have been too nice. It would have been too nice. So we have to go to Nyx now.
Iron North Tower. Area 18 friendly center for business development.
Yay,
Any
Nyx.
of our associates for help or rental.
Look, Nyx is beautiful. I like the missions that they started off with, but man, there's just snooze fest out there. If they get fixed, would size 2 deadbolts work for the nose? They still do the thing of letting you punch up. They're way slower and don't damage shields, but they had a benefit. So why I like my cannons of the laser variety is because you sometimes need to strip a lot of armor before your other guns do damage, and if you run out, if you run out of ammo in them, then you're done. Your punch up goes away, right? The benefit of the laser ones is that never truly goes away. If you can get shields down, you can strip armor, you can use the rest of your weapon kit, because you really don't want to do a mono laser cannon build. And the unfortunate truth is just cap ships are still so common now that you kind of need to both of them into the equation. Everyone's like, oh, but you're not supposed to fight a cap ship in a solo fighter. No, not in a solo fighter, but in a fighter, with a group, yeah, you absolutely can. And outfitting your ship in a way that can't is a little silly in my mind. Like right now, a gang of Hornets would slaughter any cap ship, fully crewed or not. The issue is getting to the shields, right? It's not a bad option, just it really does limit your ability to stay on target. The main benefit of the Deadbolt in PvP is as a tool used to pen shields and to hit exterior components. Its only real job should be to get through. I mean, it's not a bad choice. It's not should have no. It's just not what I think I would do.
ASOP vehicle retrieval system. Please visit us again.
Please be aware that while in the Stanton system and on ArcCorp, all UEE common laws are still in effect.
Okay, we got the mount.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system. Vehicle selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been delivered to the following location.
Monitor your luggage at all times.
Any chance to spin at Hathor? Oh yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I missed that message. Guys, once the secret about NNs gets out, and I've been trying to spread the word. Okay, I'm not. Okay, if I was a jerk, I would keep that to myself. I would keep that real quiet. But no, I'm trying to spread the word because they are just the best weapon. Now you don't want to mono them because then you know you're going to struggle against a fighter. But you run them how I was sort of doing it on the Aurora, and how I'm going to do it on this one, where it's a part of your kit, not all of your kit.
Thank you, and please visit again.
This game is beautiful, and it actually runs so well now. I know it still needs work in that department, but guys, like, it wasn't too long ago that I was thinking that this game would never be above 60 FPS. God. All right. I feel like if there was a ballistic cannon between the Deadbolt and the longswords, that would be nice. I just wish that they didn't base the armor pen off of alpha damage. It was off the pen stat, because then the longsword would be great. I've wanted the longsword to be good for a while. I tried running it back when 4.5 first dropped. Actually, I did kill a Hornet with it on my Gladius. It was fun. I want distortions to be useful. Yeah. Distortions are in a weird place. I feel like distortions should have their own either their own capacitor or their own hard point, right? Like on the Hawk, for example, what if we took away its 2 size 1 hard points and we gave it 2 more size 2 hard points, but they were fixed to distortions? And if they didn't use your main capacitor, they had their own power system, so they wouldn't be taking away shots from your other guns, right? Maybe. Why did we fall out jump? That's weird. Yeah, join the club on that one, Kuro. It's not that they haven't talked about it ever. It's just that like they kind of like every change they made, they kind of need to reinforce what they do. Like I've seen like people like Space Cutlet. Is it Cutlet? It might not be Cutlet. But there's a piracy streamer who uses the Shiv a lot. And they'll use distortions. But what they use that for is to literally go in, you know, they turn off a ship, then they'll kill the person on board, and then they'll fly their ship out to go steal the cargo, right? And they only have the Shiv there because if it does blow up, you know, they still have a cargo bay to take stuff, right? Yeah, they want a crew. They have like 3 ships. They've got a mixed mono distortion build. Sorry, mixed laser distortion build. God, my brain. Lasers get shields down, and then they hit them with the distortions with the 3 ships, and then 2 ships stay on there, keeping him down. As the 3rd ship goes down, they go to do the boarding, right? But I don't even know if he's still able to do that with the changes to the ship door health and stuff. No, that's not an issue. That's never an issue, right? Because as much as CIG wants there to be these big, you know, multi-ship, multi-fleet things, as much as there are sometimes, the game is 99.9% played by people who are playing solo. And that's like probably one of the reasons why it's really hard to balance this game, right? Like they can't genuinely make light fighters useless against big ships because that might be someone's only ship. And like, it's not like it's like a Battlefield game where you're expecting, you know, the 32v32, right? And then they're gonna matchmake you into that, and they can have you do roles that way, which is why we have the system of soft counters that we have now. This ship is so fucking slow. Maybe I should have started in Nyx, but nah, I don't know. I don't think I can get the nose turret there. I don't know. They've got a balancing nightmare. I don't have zero interest in one. I mean, I own a couple big ships. But like, I'm never gonna main them, right? I'm at home in the small stuff. I just have it so I can provide it to people who might want to run it. Because like I said, back, there was a time I was in an org, and yeah. But that time is gone. I do like big ships as like carriers. That's really cool to me. I love operating off of a carrier. It'd be sad that I don't have an Idris, just because like the Idris flight deck is just so Battlestar Galactica, and it's so cool. I want to fill that thing up with Archimedes. Like back during Ballistic Meta, fill it up with Shredder or whatever the size 1 version of those called, Shredder Archimedes, just all the way down, and just use it as a respawning flight deck, right? Yeah, I really wish they would. If they aren't going to make it vitally clear what each ship is and isn't in its marketing material, right? Because if they, like, you know, like, no one's gonna buy an SRV and think it's a dogfighter, right? But you are gonna buy a Hornet and say, okay, I'm gonna fight, I'm gonna combat ship. And if you run into a hard wall where you just can't do anything, it's like, well, shit. Especially if that's your only ship, right? Just release the swarm, yeah. So, oh man, there was a short period of time. This was before the Polaris and like ships with dedicated hangars. Like the only ships that had hangars were the Carrack and the Carrack and the 890, right? Those were the only ships that had hangars, okay? But the Fury got released. And I was looking at it and I'm like, bro, we could run a Caterpillar as a carrier and literally have 5 Furies in each of the cargo pods. And me and my friend did it. And I mean, there's a lot of issues with running carrier ops when you don't have somebody staying on the main ship. Like this is back, but like when the ship would despawn if you flew too far away from it, right? But it was cool because you had that catwalk. You kind of had like a flight deck. You have a guy go there, operate like, all right, I'm opening the door, you fly, close, next guy out. All right, I'm opening your door, you fly, close, you go out. There was some cool stuff you could do with that. Oh my, well, it was fast. It was fast. Okay, Crusader ships used to have the best engines. But then master modes came and they had to change every ship to the new system right now. And they did archetypes, and they made like 6 or 7. No, they made more than that. But they made archetypes, and they just put your little ship in a bubble, and then your ship flew like that. And they tweaked it and they made some things better. But yeah. Oh god, the MSR. The MSR was the first like big ship that I ever did the upgrade process to. Traded my Avenger for it, and this was before I was deep into combat, right? But I was part of the Gib MSR hype.
Landing gear. Shields online. Landing complete.
The only thing I'm hopeful for with the new flight models, they've been going ship by ship, deciding how they want it specifically to fly. Also, I don't know if I trust them to get it right. Yeah. I just...
Takeoff complete. Landing gear raised.
I really wish... damn. So, I've said things in the past that ended up not being very fair to CIG or even very true. So, for the longest time after Massimo was dropped, I held the belief, right? And what this belief was that there was nobody left at CIG that was a hardcore flight enthusiast. And I believe this because we had long since been going away from the hardcore elements of flight. Each flight model seemed more simple than the last, right? And, you know, ships had less tactility to them, you know, less things you could press in the cockpit to do things, right? Like DCS. And they kept trying to make things simpler, and simpler is not even the right term. Just because there are things about Master Modes that are very not simple. Like the idea of a speed wall is entirely alien to anyone who does not play Star Citizen. Okay, you say your average space sim pilot, or even just your average pilot, and tell them that if you go over a speed, you're going to lose all your maneuverability until you're back under that speed. No one's going to guess that behavior at all, right? They might think, okay, there's a speed I can't go past. That's normal for games. Speed limit, but the speed wall and how that works is really unintuitive. And so, like, I don't even like the improvements that Master Mode made to playability could have been done on the old system. The best thing that helped make pilots like not crash or joust was was an automatic slowdown on landing gear. Like, now again, the old system had its own things that aren't very intuitive, like tricording and turning on the 45 especially. But then Benoit came on. Oh, hello, stupid track IR clip breaking off. And Benoit was talking about how he, you know, would spend hours setting up these flight setups, right? And getting into the binds, how he liked them and stuff. And things. And maybe that's just a tech guy, but it doesn't sound like somebody who doesn't care about flight, right? Like if somebody messed with my flight binds, I'd be pissed. And so it's like, okay, maybe it's technical limitations. Maybe it's because they are just targeting that, you know, more casual demographic. But even then, like there's, I don't know. The next flight model I am very worried about. As critical as I have been at master modes, and I've been very critical about master modes, I really think I'm gonna miss it. Because what we do get right now in master modes is a very good positional fight. If two people agree to go in and do knife fighting can be really fun in master modes. Now usually people don't do that. And they'll sit at mid-range and they'll wiggle, and that's really not fun. But you can get a very cool fight in master modes right now. And I feel like when they get rid of your strafes and you really can't hold any speed to a side direction, what we're gonna get is basically 4 degrees of freedom plus, whereas basically Star Wars Squadrons or you know, X-Wing, but worse because CIG and their time to kill and balancing. Now it could be really wrong, and maybe you just have to use your main thrusters to start that strafe going, and then you can hold that strafe because speed walls won't behave how they do right now. Like if I have the boost to the side, but then I can turn and drift and fire at you with that and maintain that momentum, that could still be fun, but we'll see. Otherwise, we're just taking the shoebox of fighting with the speed walls of master modes, and we are shrinking the sides and the back of that shoebox. That's all we're getting. And I'm really worried about that.
Drive is now on.
Watch some takeaway strafes, but leave them on the alien ships. Yeah, maybe. Would it be good? No. I'm not saying they can't make a Star Wars style flight system engaging, but it, and like I know that's how they're shooting their cinematics right now, so maybe that is their vision, right? Is to have this type of chasing. That's fun, and that is a cool thing in other flight sims. It's just, it's not Star Citizen. Star Citizen has always been 6 stuff, and this GIMP 6 stuff does not sound super fun. And like, okay, they can keep a non-symmetrical bubble, right? They can do an egg shape, but if they just made it a little faster, right? Instead of 220 forward, we had 550 forward, right? And then we had 350 backwards, right? So you still had some maneuverability to go back or hit your speed wall, right? But you would always close if someone's going forward on you, but you wouldn't feel like you had nothing to go backwards, right? Which is what you're going to feel in the new flight model, if the leaks are true. You're gonna have like 25 meters a second backwards. Like, oh my fucking god. And you know, if the side shapes were like 400, cool. You now have the egg-shaped flight model, but you can still move in that, right? You can do things around in that. But they kept thinking that speeds were why you would joust, and it was not. It was energy management. It was poor energy management skills. Hello, Lagski. Hello, Lagski. Holy shit.
Shields online.
And he was like, well, low speeds is more noob friendly. No, it's not. Not really. What was more noob friendly about master modes is the fact that you can, it has assist slight slowdown from nav mode to SEM and from SEM to the landing gear mode. And those assists could have been given without doing master mode speeds. If anyone thinks master mode is noob friendly, then have them try that to fight a PvP player on there for day one. Master mode is not noob friendly. There were things that were agnostic to the system that made it more noob friendly because the old system just didn't have them.
Gears deployed.
Don't tell if you don't tell somebody how speed walls and boost works, they're just dead. Like, also, like, it's okay for a game, and then especially a flight sim. It's okay for a flight sim to not be noob friendly. Like, this game does not need to say, hey, you can jump in and day one be an ace pilot. Why does that need to be a thing? It doesn't. What it needs to be is, hey, day one you can get in and learn to fly your ship. Those are two very different statements, okay? It should be a low barrier to entry. The flight model should be intuitive, so you don't need this hidden knowledge like, hey dude, you go over your 220, you're fucked. Like, that's not intuitive in the space game. Space games, really, you shouldn't think that they would, like, that going fast would be of any downside to you, right? So it needs to be an intuitive system that somebody doesn't really need arcane knowledge to understand. But you can keep that skill ceiling quite high because this is a flight sim. This is a game primarily played by adults, all right? The majority of my viewer base is over 18, all right? These are people who have disposable money to spend on this expensive ass game and on stuff like flight setups or big ass ships, things like that, right? As long as you make the flight engaging, fun, and intuitive, people would naturally want to get better at it. Or if they don't, if they can reach the minimum skill that where they can do what they need to, then you've achieved what you want with your flight model. All right? But you shouldn't be trying to get people who day one can fight the top players in the verse. That should never be your goal. All right? That's not how it is for Fortnite. That's not how it is for Apex Legends. It's not how it is for any PvP game. You don't expect to put somebody against the top in the verse and have them be able to get kills. Exactly, because it's not intuitive. That's all my money. That's all my money. All right, boys. We're out here. We're broke in Levski. Yeah, the A constant itself isn't bad. They just need to. They're shrinking the. They're shrinking our play box. Like I said, it could still be good if what I've heard about how they're changing speed walls is true. It will still be arcane knowledge that won't make sense to somebody, but at least then you'll be able to do stuff. You just need to use your main thruster to do it, right? So let me just really quick go over what I've heard the next how lag walls, speed walls might work in the next flight model. And that is where once you're over them in a direction, that thruster basically stops doing much, but it doesn't drag you back under it. So what you might be able to do is use your main thruster, moving away, and then roll into it and keep your speed, keep your momentum, and shoot, and then use that main thruster to get back out of it. So instead of using nav thrusters as much, you would be using your main thruster to kind of do these sort of skating glides, right? It would be very different. But if that's true, that also means we're going to get less wiggling. So we're going to be less, when we're in the orbit with somebody, we're in a fight, we get less of this, where the guy is just spamming their inputs on the keyboard or on the stick, right? Which would be kind of cool. And it'll be very different. Oh yeah, no, there's a ton of joystick in the next fight model. Like, spoiler alert, guys. Yeah, jousting's very much back in that from everything I've heard. Now, I should clarify, I have not flown the new flight model, but I have talked to two separate people who have. They were in two different tests. But yes, jousting. Shocker, when you remove backstrafe, you give it 25 meters per second back, you can't stay in a fight. Yeah. Now you can still do orbits, so that's still possible, but it definitely requires both people wanting to be in an orbit. Yeah, it seems like they want MAV thrusters to be for landing and not for flying,
To the ASOC vehicle retrieval system.
which is quite the choice.
Your vehicle has
And with the shield regen we have right now, Kurosawa, where if you're off shooting at somebody's shields for 5 seconds, they get their shields back entirely. I'm trying not, and I should clarify, I'm trying not to be doomer about it, but I do think, oh man, like, I'm worried about it. So I love this game. I do love this game. It's a buggy, horrific mess filled with feature creep, but I love this game. All right, boys, we have the weapon loadout. We don't have the full build of components.
Landing gear raised.
Let's do a mission really quick for money just to see how we do out here.
Shields offline.
Well, so, okay, they didn't change your accelerations. They changed your speed walls, okay? So you still have the same the same G's backwards, right? It's just now you're just going to instantly stop. Like, low speeds can be fine if you also have low acceleration, so you have to build up your energy. Why we have the wiggling problem in master modes is because we have instant acceleration. Yeah, you still pull the same amount of G's going back until you reach negative 25 meters per second backwards, right? It's not saying you can only you can only reverse at, you know, basically 2 G's. No, 3 G's. Basically 3 G's back. So I mean that's what I get right now anyways. in this shit without boosting, 3 more 6.
Shields online.
Why is my self status broken? That's really frustrating. I have to literally scan it, right?
Shields offline.
Missions in this game are kind of meh. But we need more money than 30K.
Shields online. Okay. Shields offline. Shields online. Check fire. Shields offline.
Oh, that's funny. I do like the Galatian belt. It is a cool set piece. I like these, you know, I like how Nyx looks, but man, these missions is snooze fest. And like, there's nothing like I'm hoping Rockbreaker would be easier to access, but I really don't like that they put it behind rep.
Shields online. Shields offline. Shields online. Shields offline. Draft is now on.
All right. This was all way cooler when I thought the Vandal would just randomly show up, right? Like when Nyx is close to being finished, it'd be really cool. They just had a random invasion, and you would go there, and like areas would go dark, and there'd be a huge Vandal invasion fleet that you could all fight off together or something, right? Or like doing random missions, they just show up, or and people would hate me for saying this, but like you're just out there mining, doing your own thing, and you're out there, and you'll just spawn Vandal on you. And so it like becomes this thing that affects players. Like, hey guys, this vandal invasion needs to be stopped, and like, it's affecting our industry. It's affecting all this stuff. That'd be so cool. Instead of them being enemies for one specific mission and nowhere else, like that would be cool. I just don't give a shit.
Mayday! Outlaws are attacking my ship!
Bogey.
I just, I am so tempted to just like,
Shields online.
I'm so tempted to, I can't see anything about these ships. Oh, lag. Let's get you, you're big. Let's get all this aggro off him. Can't see my own status. This is gonna be interesting here. It's time to kill, man.
Target
Keep the
destroyed.
fighters off me so I can work.
Shields hit.
Arrow.
You've got to keep them off us so we can work.
Target destroyed.
Working on it, bud.
Take it. Keep the fighters off me so I can work.
Target destroyed.
You've got to keep them off us so we can work.
He's time to kills, man,
Could
dude.
definitely use some support about now.
Shields hit.
Taking heavy fire.
Yep, these are broken too, so
Target destroyed.
we're doing this off vibe. Yeah, this CTK is very frustrating. But to be fair, I could speed it up if I had the, you know, full deadbolt build, but I like having builds on my ships that are useful. And we'll go through, so now we just do this a bit until we ship the armor off. Yep, armor shipped, so now we do everything.
Thank you. I thought we were done for.
Shields offline. Bottom drive is now on.
Alrighty.
Bottom drive is now up.
Don't be another scan one, please. Oh, the weather changes are still great. Big fan of them.
Shields online. Bogey.
Alright, let me see if I can't fix this by using their freaking MFD casts. Not be able to see what I'm fighting. Nope, they're still broken. Oh my god, dude. The target and self-status of these being broken is so... Alright. Oh wait. They work on that screen. Why are they flying away? Hey, look at that. Buccaneer. Arrow. The Buck, Arrow, Vanguard. Then 400i. The radar changes are great, guys. They will actually make it easier for noobs to not engage too early.
Shields hit.
They give a skilled expression to people who can use the Mark 1 eyeball. Use bigger ships.
We lost one of our own.
You use distortion.
Target destroyed.
Not you. You.
Bogey.
Taking damage.
Dude, this 400 is actually annoying. Mainly because this fucking Vanguard won't die, so I can't focus it. There we go. Holy shit.
Shields hit.
These shield changes are so frustrating.
Shield down. Engines offline.
And he bumps me. I was on a full back strafe there.
Destroyed.
Yeah, these shield changes are fucking ass. I'm just gonna, the fact that you need to keep, so I can't like back off. Once I start the fight, I need to get shields down. And if I don't get shields down, then in 5 seconds they're entirely back, right? Is my power empathy also broken? No, there. Oh, cool, but can't repair it. See the new books every time I play, right? So like, basically it means when you're in a big ship, you need to then try and counter-take it, right? You need to get shield base down, and then you need to blow off a turret. Then you have a safe place to sit, right? That's what I'm trying to do, but it's okay. I really don't like the shield changes. We're just gonna call it there. We got the ship. So now we can claim it and we can use it in PvP in the verse. That's great. I want to go see if there's anyone in Arena Commander. There probably isn't, but I want to get some fights now. So the problem with that is that they've now applied armor to turrets and to PDCs. So the only ballistics really worth taking is the Deadbolts. Because otherwise, when you apply the debuff to damage through shields, most ballistics will not damage it. I don't see anyone else in the lobby here. Nope. And now the real question is it just because we're on a a weeknight and it's late, or is it because dogfighting is dead because it feels really bad? Yeah, that'd be cool. No one's in squadron battle. EU maybe? Maybe EU has a map with people on it in free flight? Just sources and things. Okay, different map. Don't see anyone. Yep. There's no one in free flight, so it could be that it's Tuesday night. Could also be that dogfighting is dead. Oh man. Alright guys, well we tried. We did get some stuff done. We did get to do an actual PvP inverse test with the Aurora. It would have been better if it was 1v1, but oh well. It's the way that PU works. And we got our Hornet outfitted, so we can do some stuff with that. So it is almost 11 p.m. here. So I'm gonna hop off for the night and get some rest. And I'll keep playing more this week, trying to get a video ready for you guys. Nobody wants to fight with pool noodles. Yeah. Like this would like armor needed to happen. Damagement needed to happen. It's just the way that they did it for this first iteration is a little bit, yeah. And the TTKs are really stretching out, getting really long. We'll see, guys. You know, there's nothing wrong with the game changing, but I hope that they revisit how fighter v fighter stuff handles. I would much rather we had fighters that die in 3 shots and were considered weak if you could still have fun fighter duels, right? But we'll see. Catch you guys all later. I'm not like molding or anything, just not the session I wanted to have. That's all. Catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for hanging out. It was fun. Peace.